Morning everybody, it's time for another adventure, but I'm not going in the camper behind me. Today we are heading off to the RACV Midwinter Rally. You can probably guess how I'm dressed. It's the middle of July. I think it's 4 degrees, feels like 2, and it really is midwinter. I've got my flask of tea packed. Let's just wait for the transport to arrive and get on the road. Join us and see what we get up to. Here's my transport. Morning, Cole.
It's crazy.
You look cold. The 1913 Willys Overland. And we're off to Maryborough in it today, which is about an hour and a half in a normal car and about 3 hours at 50k. Let's load up and go. Alright, looks like the sun's starting to poke out. That'll be good. It might get up to 4 degrees today. It was 4 feels like 2 this morning here.
Oh, yeah, it's cold.
So this is Colin and Merralyn's 1913 Overland Model 69 Touring, which is a 5-seater. It runs a 4-cylinder engine, 25.6 horsepower, and it's 226 cubic inches, which I'm not sure how much that is in other language. They have a sliding gear 3-speed gearbox plus reverse, which is unusual because the Model Ts of the era and other cars used epicyclic transmissions, so the Overland was ahead of its time from that side of things. And it's a very attractive car. This one's hand start. There was an electric start version of this one as well. It gets along the road very well indeed. It's very easy to start, and it's quite imposing because you're quite high up in these cars, obviously with the wooden wheels and the large tyres. You're not sat down low like modern cars, even SUVs. So the Overlands were made by the Willys Company, which of course in World War II made the famous Willys Jeep. But at the turn of the century, they were actually made by the Standard Wheel Company. And it was the New York auto dealer John North Willys who bought the company in 1907 and started making the Overlands. And they ran through until sometime in the 1930s when production stopped. So even with the canvas roof up and the sides, they're very cold and drafty inside. There's obviously no heater, so that's why we were well rubbed up. We had a good trouble-free journey though, and we made it up to Maryborough in less than 2 hours, which was a lot quicker than we thought. Just in time for lunch. Everybody. Here we are at Rally HQ, the Bristol Hill Motor Inn. And this is where we can get our registration and pick up our rally packs with the maps in. Well, of course, we're in Maryborough for the RACV Midwinter Rally. It's July 2023, so that is my 1911 Scott motorcycle, so I'm going to be riding that. Catrina will be joining us tomorrow, and Colin and Merralyn will be in the Willys Overland. It's time for the shakedown and registration for the rally. It's Friday afternoon, so we'll jump on the bike, get in the car, and head down to the assembly area. Well, I'm by myself, so with the Scott I just scoot it off, knock it into low gear, and hopefully it fires up quick. And it did. Off we go. There go Colin and Merralyn in their 1913 Willys Overland. This was only 2 or 3k, we just had to go from one side of Maryborough to the other, so it didn't take too long, and we're at the meeting point. Well, we've got our rally packs. We're at the Bristol Hill Hotel, which is where we're starting. This is our book with our maps in for the weekend. Friday afternoon, it's a short shakedown run, 30 kilometres. We're going to go up to Havelock, down to Carisbrooke, and then to the historic Maryborough train station, where we've got a tour, I believe. There's 43 entries in the book here, so we'll try and get around and have a look at the different cars and some of the motorcycles that are here. Here's Peter Fagan starting his Triumph. This had a 3-speed hub with a clutch, but you have to pedal it off to get it going first. It starts very nicely, that bike. With Peter going, it's my turn to paddle off down the hill, so I scoop the bike, knock it into low gear, fires up, let's go. That's Murray and Julie Wright in front of us in their Enfield car. No, not a Royal Enfield, just an Enfield. It's a very nice 4-cylinder machine that they've recently got going. So I followed them, and we were going to run up the steep hill that goes through the Bristol Hill Reserve just outside the assembly area here. And as we can see, the hill already claimed a victim at the bottom. It was no problem for the 2-speed Scott though. They're of course legendary for climbing hills. And we're up over the top, and at the top of the hill here, this is the Bristol Hill Reserve, there is the Bristol Hill Pioneer Memorial Tower, and you can climb up there and get a good view of the whole town from the top. Down the other side of the hill in the reserve, and let's enjoy some scenery as we head to Carisbrooke. I'm guessing the car had stopped and the passenger had gone back to go and pick up something that had fallen off or fallen out. As this was only a short shakedown run out, when we arrived in Carisbrooke we weren't going to stop and have a cup of tea or anything, so we carried on riding. Mind you, there wasn't too much going on in Carisbrooke either. All we do, go up here, turn right, and we'll head back down to Maryborough on some different roads. Didn't take us too long to get back to the outskirts of Maryborough. You can see from the sky it was a glorious day for riding and a very nice temperature once it had warmed up for this afternoon. It was an easy ride through Maryborough, the traffic was quiet, and we pull into the station car park area. That's the station in front of us there, and they've got all the cars lined up on the approach road. But I'll just sneak off here and park behind Peter Fagan, so we got both motorcycles together. There was only 2 motorcycles on the run this afternoon. But a fine place to park in front of the station. So this behind me is the magnificent Maryborough station. This was built in 1890. It took 12 months to build it. It was based on a design from Melbourne. They stole the design evidently because they wanted a grand station for this country town, and they certainly got that. It's made out of sandstone on the features and pillars, and brick, English brick they call it, which is 1 in 2 beside on the structure, which makes it really strong. The train, it used to have a train every 30 minutes, but it's only about 2 or 3 trains a day now. But it's a most magnificent structure, and you can see even the chimneys, the way the chimneys have been built, the brickwork on them, the stonework, really excellent. The wood inside is a mixture of English and Australian pine, and we'll go and have a look at a bit of that. So, very impressive. 25 rooms inside, the mortuary all the way at that end, all the way to the lamp room, which is at that end. The final feature of note here is that clock that you can see behind us. So the clock tower was built in 1890 when the rest of the station was built. Bearing in mind it took them 12 months to build the entire station, it then took 20 years for them to decide which clock to put in the clock tower. Yes, I don't know. That's what happens when committees get involved. Anyway, it's up there now, and it's been there for 110 years. 20 years less than the station itself.
This is the main entrance to the station, and as we go in here, just take a look upwards if you get the chance, and you can see all the intricate detail in the carving and the structure for the ceiling. This is the platform. It's one of the few platforms in Australia that has a full glass veranda all the way through the centre of it. And if you look at the windows above all the doors and the main window openings, they're all stained glass. They're not so impressive looking from outside inwards because it's darker indoors. But if we go indoors, it's a different story. And you can see this in the dining room. So this is now the cafe. We can see the vaulted ceiling and the vestibule there. It has a lovely open fire that's still working in feature. And there you can see the stained glass windows in all their glory. There's a small display of some historic photos of the station. This is a couple of trains working really hard. Some navvies working on the railway, and the railway itself in 1910. After all that excitement, it's time to fire up the Overland and the Scot, and we'll get back to the campsite. Safely back at camp and all good, and there can't be much wrong with a 2-stroke if it'll tick over nicely like that.
That's the bike all checked over and sorted. We're ready for tomorrow. We're off out for a rally dinner tonight at the Bull and Mouth, I think it's called, which is a historic pub here in Maryborough. Looking forward to it. Should be good. Catrina will be here in a minute. It's going to be 1 degree tonight, which is going to be a bit fresh. I'm glad I've got antifreeze in the bike because it'll be living outside. Let's get changed and get off for some tasty tea.
So this hotel was built in 1904, and it was the Ballarat architect W.E. Gribble who designed it in the Edwardian Baroque style, and it's locally known for its grandeur, particularly its staircase and its ceilings. And outside you can get a feel for the money that was around in Maryborough at the time. It was obviously a gold mining town back then. Anyway, we had a very fine meal, and that was us done and off to bed. So join us next time when we'll have day 2, the Saturday of the rally. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and give us a thumbs up.